everybody. Let's discuss about language and academic manners in discussion. With me, Yuni, Sari, Amalia, we are going to discuss more about how you would lead a discussion in English. So first, let's have a look at what we are going to learn at the end of this course. First, you are going to delve into the language used in opening a discussion. Second, we are going to learn the variation of languages when giving opinions. And third, we are going to learn discussion manners and how to practice them in leading a discussion. So first, we need to be a good listener. Why and what does this mean? It means that when we want to lead a discussion, we will begin by listening to what other people have to say about their opinion. Okay, let's have a look at the language used in opening a discussion. All right, some of the discussion, it should start with sentences or phrases like, let's begin, or let's start with something. And then we could also say, as we all know, and then you can begin your statement. Or we could also start with, so we know that this pandemic has caused a lot of negative impacts toward so many people. But how do we rise above this gloomy situation, for instance? Yeah. So we could use some of these language variation to introduce a topic. Second, so what are the language variation that we can use when giving opinion? There are several things, several phrases that we can use or expressions that we can use when we want to give our opinion. For instance, we could say, I think. We could also say, as far as I know, in my opinion, or just like when we say this a lot online when we're conducting, when we make a conversation with our friends, we could say, in my humble opinion, in my honest opinion, or if you want my honest opinion. So that's how we can start by saying all these phrases. We could also say, in my view, or we could start with something like, I don't believe that, or you could say something a little bit bold, like, I've never come across the idea that, to express something that impressed you. And then you could also say, as far as I'm concerned, there will be a lot more phrases and expressions that you could use, and you could certainly use this in a daily conversation, in academic discussion, to practice giving opinion and making a conversation in English. And then if you want to oppose, yeah, or like giving some other opposition or ideas that are actually opposite of your opponent, or you would like to present another perception, another view, you could say, on the other hand, yeah, to give a more balanced opinion, you could say, on the other hand, on the one hand, to state that actually I have more or opposing ideas about what I have just said or what I've just heard, or you want to say politely about other people's opinion that you disagree, yeah. Or you could also say they claim that, yeah, when you're quoting or referencing other people's works and thoughts. Yeah? You could also say the theories also say, other studies suggest that, yeah, all of those are phrases and expressions you could use when you want to give an opinion they're opposing to what you have just said, to give a more balanced perception. Yeah. And here is more on the agreeing and disagreeing. You could use these expressions, for instance, like, I must admit that, yeah, I don't think so. Or, well, you're right up to a point. Yeah? I believe, or I don't believe, I agree or disagree with what you think, with what you say. Yeah? I'm convinced that. You could say exactly, or you could say, I can understand how you are coming to this point, or I can understand where you're coming from. It's hard to say, well, that can be right. Those are some of the phrases or expressions you could use to agree or disagree on a statement. What about manners and how to practice academic discussion? Let's have a look. So we could use, or we could start by using some clarifying statements. How do we say that? So you could say, so you mentioned that. Are you stating that just to get your thoughts in line with what you have heard, what you have understood, with what other people are saying, or what your colleague or friends is saying? So to be able to understand that, to be in line with what they're saying, you could say that. Or, well, hence what you said is to ensure what you understood is in line with your friend's thoughts and opinion. And then you can comment on what they're thinking. And then you can express your own opinion on the matter. What about if you want to interrupt politely? You could say, well, I'm sorry, but I have another idea. I'm sorry, but I have to disagree. Yeah? for instance, or you could say, can I add something? May I ask you something? Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but yeah. So there are things that you could say to interrupt a conversation or an opinion politely. Now have a look at these. Are we ready to do some discussion practice? So in this class, you are going to have a look at this article. You are going to read this article on the pandemic impact on mortality and economy varies across age groups and geographies. What is that? How it happens? Who is involved? Who the authors are? Why? Where? Or when? These are the questions that you can delve into through reading this article. You can begin your discussion by asking these questions. Have a look at the answers. First, you gotta understand the article, what it's trying to say, and then try to come up with more questions so that you can discuss with your fellow friends. This is some of the practice that you can engage in through implementing some of the expressions and language variations as part of your academic discussion. So let's start your discussion. Thank you.